Marie Lafferty was the daughter of a Scottish fur trader and a Blackfeet woman, which meant that she belonged to two worlds and was claimed by neither. The town called her a half-breed. The tribe called her a stranger. The white women crossed the street when she passed. The Blackfeet women did not recognize her as one of their own. She was 23 years old, and she had spent every one of those years being told, by everyone, on both sides, that she did not fit. She had many names. None of them were hers. This is the story of those names, and of the one man who refused to use any of them, and instead saw only her. Marie Lafferty was born in 1857 at a fur trading post on the Missouri River. Her father, Angus Lafferty, was a Scottish trader who had come to the west with the Hudson's Bay Company. Her mother, whose Blackfeet name meant morning sparrow, had married Angus in the way that fur traders and native women married, a union of trade, alliance, and in their case, genuine love. Angus loved Morning Sparrow, he loved Marie. When the fur trade declined, and many traders abandoned their native wives and mixed-blood children, Angus did not. He brought them to Fort Benton. He tried to give Marie a white upbringing, schooling, church, a place in the town's society. The town would not have it. To the people of Fort Benton, Marie was a half-breed. The word was a wall. It did not matter that she spoke perfect English, that she could read and write, that she dressed like the other young women and went to the same church. The town looked at her dark hair and her mother's cheekbones and decided what she was. The white girls did not invite her to their gatherings. The white boys did not court her, though some of them looked at her in ways that suggested they considered her available for things they would never consider marriage. The shopkeepers served her last. The church seated her at the back. When her father died in 1878, the last of her protection in the white world died with him. Without Angus Lafferty's name and standing, Marie was just a half-breed woman alone in a town that had never wanted her. She was 21. She had a small inheritance, an education, and a name the town had given her that was not a name at all. It was a category, a way of saying, you are not one of us, and you never will be. Marie did what she had to do. She survived. She took in sewing and laundry, the work available to a woman with no place. She kept to herself. She endured the looks and the slights and the loneliness. And she thought sometimes that maybe she belonged with her mother's people. Maybe the tribe would claim her, even if the town would not. She was wrong about that. And the rejection that came from the world she thought might accept her was the one that nearly broke her. After her father died, Marie traveled to her mother's band of the Blackfeet, camped along the Marias River. Her mother had died when Marie was 14, but Marie remembered the relatives, the aunts, the cousins, the grandmother who had once held her. She went hoping to find a home. She found a different kind of exclusion. To the Blackfeet, Marie was Napikwaniaki, roughly a white man's woman, or white-like. She had been raised in the town. She did not speak the language fluently. She had learned English first and Blackfeet second, and her Blackfeet was the halting speech of a child. She did not know the customs. She did not know how to do the work that Blackfeet women did. She had grown up in a house with a stove and a Bible, not in a lodge with the old ways. Her grandmother received her with love. But the band as a whole did not know what to do with her. She was blood, but she was not one of them. She had her mother's face and her father's upbringing, and the upbringing showed in everything. The way she walked, the way she spoke, the way she did not know the things every Blackfeet woman knew. The hardest part was not the strangeness. It was the recognition that she had nowhere left to go. She had come to the tribe as a last hope, and the tribe gently and without cruelty showed her that she did not belong there either. An old woman of the band said something to Marie that she carried for the rest of her life. She said, "You are not white, you are not Blackfeet, you are a bridge. And the trouble with bridges is that everyone walks across them and no one lives on them." Marie returned to Fort Benton. She had been rejected by the town for being too Indian and by the tribe for being too white. She was 23 years old and she had run out of worlds. She did not break, but she came close. She stopped hoping to belong anywhere. She decided that she would live alone, work alone, and die alone, because that was what a bridge did. It connected other people and stood emptied itself. And then she met a man who looked at her and did not see a bridge, a half-breed, or a white man's woman. He saw something nobody else had bothered to look for. He saw Marie. Daniel Crow was a freighter who hauled goods up the Missouri River to Fort Benton. He was 30 years old, the son of an Irish father and a Crow mother, another child of two worlds, but with a difference. Daniel had made peace with his in-betweenness long before he met Marie. He had decided, somewhere in his 20s, that he would not let other people's categories define him. He had heard about Marie before he met her. People in Fort Benton talked about the Lafferty woman, the half-breed, the one who had gone to the Blackfeet and come back. The talk was not kind. Daniel listened to it and formed no opinion, because Daniel had learned that the things people said about someone who lived between worlds usually said more about the speaker than the subject. He met Marie when he delivered fabric to the dry goods store where she bought her sewing materials. She was at the counter. The shopkeeper was serving 3 white women first, making Marie wait, the way they always made her wait. Daniel watched this. Then he said, loudly enough for the shopkeeper to hear, "I believe this lady was here before me. I can wait." Marie looked at him, really looked, because no one in Fort Benton had ever called her a lady, and no one had ever insisted she be served before a white customer. Daniel began finding reasons to be in Fort Benton more often. He brought his freight there when he could have taken it elsewhere. He sought Marie out. He talked to her. Not about her heritage, not about where she belonged, not about the tribe or the town. He talked to her about books because he had discovered she read. He talked to her about the river because he traveled it. He talked to her about ideas, about the future, about everything except the one thing everyone else reduced her to. Marie waited for it, the question, the category. The moment he would ask which world she really belonged to, the way everyone eventually did. It did not come. One evening she asked him directly, "You know what I am? The town calls me a half-breed. The tribe calls me white. Which do you think I am?" Daniel said, "I think you're Marie Lafferty. I think you read more than anyone in this town. I think you sew better than anyone on the river. I think you've been hurt by people too small to see past your face. And I think the question of which world you belong to is the wrong question, because you don't belong to a world. You belong to yourself. The only question that interests me is whether you'd let me belong to you." Marie Lafferty, who had been a half-breed to the town and a white man's woman to the tribe, and a bridge to the old woman of the band, heard, for the first time in her life, her own name spoken as though it were enough. As though she were not a category to be sorted but a person to be known. She started to cry, not from sadness, from the specific relief of being seen. But the world was not done with its names. And before Marie and Daniel could build a life, they had to survive what both worlds thought of 2 people who refused to be categorized. Fort Benton did not approve. 2 mixed blood people choosing each other, refusing to disappear into either world. It offended the town's sense of order. The white community had no category for it. The Blackfeet band had no claim on it. Daniel and Marie were for a time isolated by everyone. The town saw them as a confirmation of its prejudices. Some of the Blackfeet saw Marie's choice of a Crow man, from a tribe that had historically been an enemy, as a further betrayal. Marie had spent her whole life trying to be accepted by one world or the other. With Daniel, she stopped trying. She said to him, "I used to think I needed somewhere to belong, the town, the tribe, somewhere. I spent 23 years knocking on doors that would never open. And then you said I belonged to myself, and I realized I have been trying to be claimed by people who do not want me, when I could have just claimed myself." Daniel said, and now Marie said, "Now I claim myself, and I choose you. Not because you are a world I can belong to, because you are a person who sees me, That is worth more than any tribe or any town. They married in 1881, in a ceremony that was neither fully white nor fully native, but something they built themselves. A little of each tradition, a little of neither, entirely their own. The old woman from the Blackfeet band came. So did Daniel's Crow relatives. The town stayed away, which suited everyone. They settled on a piece of land outside Fort Benton. Not in the town, not on the reservation, but in the in-between space that had always been Marie's home, except now it was a home she had chosen rather than been exiled to. And here is the thing that changed everything. Their land became a gathering place. Other people who lived between worlds, mixed blood families, people who fit nowhere, found their way there. Marie, who had spent her life being told she was a bridge that no one lived on, built a home on the bridge, and it filled with people. Daniel and Marie Crow ranched and farmed their in-between land for 32 years. They had 5 children, children who were, like their parents, of more than one world, and who grew up in a home where that was not a wound but simply a fact. Marie raised her children to know both heritages. She taught them English and Blackfeet, and the bits of Crow she learned from Daniel. She told them the story of the old woman and the bridge, and then she told them the ending the old woman had gotten wrong. The old woman said no one lives on a bridge, Marie told her children.